Hello, welcome to my channel. My name's Heidi, and I'm really going to be tapping into the energy of this Mercury retrograde in Cancer that just started, and what it means for the collective, because this is really a time of visiting this past energy of our home and family dynamics and the ways we've brought up, and specifically our emotional world and how we've been taught to process our emotions and follow our intuition, or where we haven't. It's this like moon energy, this mother nurturing energy, and it really has to do with the sacral and the third eye and also the heart. And yeah, just being very emotionally connected. There's gonna be a lot of suppression coming up. And then Mercury has to do with the mind and communication, and it's gonna be a time of really trying to understand this past energy and these old beliefs that have been programmed into us through our family, and how it started somewhere. It didn't start with us. It's been kind of like passed down, and it's that's the cycle that has taken place, and how that's continuing, and how really like doing this work and trying to understand things and move forward in this new way is what changes everything. I'm drinking this Yerba Madre Bravo mango drink, and I actually had a mango smoothie before this too, so lots of mango here, and I was feeling a little disconnected before I had that smoothie, and just feeling like I wasn't able to record and express myself in the right way. And when you think of mango specifically, like the significance of it, mango has to grow in like a specific tropical area in order to grow and ripen, and so when you tie that into this Mercury retrograde in Cancer energy, it's like I'm strongly feeling that throughout your life you haven't felt emotionally safe to express yourself and just like be supported through what you were feeling, what was coming up in you, in your family dynamic, your home life. And I feel that's also really been reflected through outside of your home too, in your connections. So you might have felt like it wasn't safe to feel and work through things, so instead you suppressed your emotions and lived in a place where it was better to just brush things under the rug and fake it till you make it type of thing. And I'm just feeling this like very serious energy, and having to basically guard yourself in your connections, because you just never truly felt safe in your home life. And so you've never really felt safe out in the world either when it came I can't talk you never felt safe to express yourself in this throat chakra energy, to express the ways that you were feeling, because you felt that you were going to be shut down, dismissed, and just rejected and invalidated for exactly like what you were feeling. And you've been taught to think that having emotions was wrong, and that you needed to just completely get rid of whatever you're feeling, but not through release, through suppression, which when you're suppressing your emotions, where are they gonna go? They're gonna go inside of you, and you're gonna be living unconsciously ruled by your emotions, even when you don't realize. And after so long, you know, it causes all these complications, and it causes these like dysfunctional relationships where you don't feel safe, and you also, you know, are specifically being blocked in your sacral, because that's like the emotional center, which also has to do with, you know, creativity, pleasure, and just feeling as a whole. So when you have all these stored emotions there below your navel, can't see where I'm pointing to, but down there, your creativity isn't going to be able to express itself in the right way. It's going to be buried underneath all this energy, this negative energy specifically. Is not going to be in this flow. You know, the sacral is about flow, it's water. And yeah, so you've been just really blocked in your creative ideas and how you've been expressing that, and also building up these walls when it comes to your heart and allowing yourself to love freely, because you've just never felt safe to, you know, really connect these centers and let the right kind of love in. And, you know, protection is this huge thing, like, oh, you gotta like protect yourself from the wrong people and stuff. And in doing that, sometimes we don't realize that we're actually blocking ourselves off from the right things. You know, it's like you've been trying to protect yourself because of the ways that you've been dismissed in your past, but in doing that, you've been blocking yourself off, and also blocking off your creativity and this love that you could truly experience. It's been living unconsciously in you, buried deep, and it's ready to come out, but you have these emotions to release first. We're gonna pull this throat chakra energy. I'm telling you, I finally just cleared my throat, and I didn't know it needed to be cleared. So you're gonna feel, you know, a lot more clear as you start to learn healthy ways to release and express yourself. Let's see what's coming up. Okay, so first we got Knight of Swords reversed. That flew out. And then in the deck we got Page of Pentacles in reversed. Okay, so when it comes to this Knight of Swords reversed energy, I feel that it's this like throat chakra energy that is a little overactive. You're being kind of like unconsciously ruled by your emotions, and really, you know, the way that you're expressing yourself isn't connected to that. You're disconnected from expressing your emotions, and instead of that, you're coming off as cold in the way that you're expressing yourself to the people around you. And you might even see that other people are being this way too. And with the Page of Pentacles in reverse here, you need to like really work through this and gain these new skills. It's something that you don't have experience with expressing yourself and your emotions. And yeah, you can just come off a little harsh when you're trying to express yourself. It's kind of like a defense mechanism. So, you know, if someone like says something to you that's triggering you, you're kind of reacting very fastly, I guess, because you have these walls up and you don't want them to like truly see you, because you're afraid of that. You're afraid of what they're gonna think and, you know, how they're gonna react, and just like the feeling of rejection that the past you experienced. And it's kind of about like protecting yourself from feeling that way again, but you're also not really allowing that. You're not opening yourself up. So it's kind of like, you know, you're being rejected anyway because you're not truly like connected to your emotions to let anyone in. I picked up the deck and looked at the bottom of it. I picked up in reverse. So it's like not seeing things from the right angle. And it says temperance in reverse. So yeah, it's this imbalance. It says impulse suppression. Trying to control what you're feeling so much and like not feel it is getting this like mental overwhelm. And just feeling unclear and blocked by your intuition and the direction you're headed, because you're like unconsciously being ruled. Strength in reverse and Wheel of Fortune in reverse. So you're disconnected from your power because of this. And Wheel of Fortune is about your luck and about how you're going against the flow. So that goes back to the whole water thing. And, you know, Cancer and this emotion. So it's kind of like you're supposed to let yourself be led where you're meant to go with your emotions. You're not supposed to like resist. You're supposed to let it flow, even if it's uncomfortable. And it's important not to drown in what you're feeling, but you know, you definitely need to release to get this old energy to come out and be cleared. And in doing that, you're gonna see, switch around, and you're also gonna be more connected to your power, your solar plexus. And yeah, you're gonna really like master your emotions and have this strength about you for overcoming these emotions. And another interesting thing about this card is Strength, the 8 card, and it's actually the card of Leo. You see the line here. And another transit we're having is Jupiter just went into Leo. And, you know, Jupiter, wow, wait, this is about luck. I guess this is kind of like this Jupiter energy Wheel of Fortune. And, you know, Jupiter is exactly that, and it's about expansion. It gives us this chance to expand in this specific area. And it just now being in Leo, which is going to be in for, I think, the next 13 months. I don't know if I'm correct on that, but 13 is a lucky number too, so that's interesting. And yeah, Leo is all about being seen. It's this confident, bold, creative energy. And, I feel that paired with this Mercury retrograde in Cancer, it's giving you a chance to be seen in this new way. It's kind of like supporting you through this uncomfortable Mercury retrograde transit. And it's going to really help reconnect you with yourself and just be seen in this new, see yourself in this new way. And also that's going to reflect the way the world is going to see you. So yeah, you're going to really expand through this, which is what visibility is all about, expanding. Shrinking is the opposite of that. So you need to really think back to the ways that you've been told to shrink, to shrink in your home life and with your by your family, the ways they've told you to shrink, whether it has to do with clothes and what you're wearing, how you're expressing yourself and your emotions, and how you've had to shrink your emotions, get rid of them, make them smaller, hide them away in you instead of releasing. You've never felt safe in being seen in connection to your emotions. You've been told to separate the two. You are not your emotions. That's what you've been told. And yeah, you really need to focus on this area. Oh, and also check out where in your chart, Leo, Cancer, your moon sign specifically. Oh, and also fourth house, because that's about home and family. So I feel like looking at these areas can really help you understand things in a better way and understand how you're going to be, processing emotions, or the ways that you've been processing your emotions. Underneath it all, it's this King of Cups energy, and how that is where these transits are leading you to be more connected to your emotions and to be this creative leader that's showing up and taking action. And specifically is this masculine manifestation of emotions. So I feel that there's just a lot of different aspects to this, but I feel that you're really being called to take charge and realize that feeling your emotions is going to make you this even greater person, this strong person, not a weak person, because this is this king energy. And when I think of that specifically, I think of the ways that men are taught, to get rid of their emotions, to suppress them, and to not be ruled by them, and how they're taught to be strong all the time, which gender doesn't matter here, but that specifically just made me think of that, and how to be connected to your emotions is how you stay balanced. Otherwise you're in this imbalance and you're actually being ruled by your emotions by suppressing them. You're unconsciously being ruled by them in a negative way. It's not going to help you to be ruled by them in this unconscious way. But if you're actually making your emotions conscious and understanding them, processing them, and releasing them instead of getting stuck in them, you're going to be this very wise person that is this amazing leader and makes people feel safe and seen, and is able to also feel that way too internally. So in the long run, it's better to face everything and Get rid of any outside noise, people telling you how to feel. Only you can know and understand yourself before the world can. If you don't understand like what you're feeling and someone's trying to tell you how to feel, that's why it's always good to look within and understand it all. And I almost forgot to bring up like the whole like mango thing and how, you know, mangoes have to grow in a specific temperature. There's actually like a heat wave right now this week, specifically where I am, which is interesting because with this Mercury retrograde in Cancer, we're really diving into these waters, and you know, it's hot outside, and I feel like this water is going to bring us this relief, you know, really connecting with our emotions during this time, if that makes sense. Like, you know, on a hot day when all you want to do is swim and you're like overheated, and then you just want to cool down and swim, and yeah, that's just what I'm getting. It's kind of random. This emotionally charged time is going to be so amazing for all of us as a collective. I really want to see what I get from the Starseed Oracle deck when it comes to this time where we are feeling so much. Okay. Big picture thinking. Okay, it's looking at like the full picture, which is like, you know, this ancestral energy, like looking at the ways that you've been programmed, reprogramming yourself. Changing your perspective is how you change. So that's why, you know, looking back at your past is actually so important, because in changing your perspective on the way things happened, you're actually changing the past, like the energy of it, so that you can move forward. I just had so many cards just fall out. So there's gonna be a lot coming out. A lot. Wow. Okay, where do I even start? The Seas of Mintaka. This is potential, bringing the unconsciousness to light. That's what I'm saying. It's shining a light on what's been sitting in you unconsciously. Star bathing, light body, crystal grid transmission activation. But it's not focusing. But yeah, it's like you need to focus on this, you know, this activation, because this time is really going to activate you in this new way. Whale and Orca elders. Share your song, frequency of sound, diving deep, dive in deep. Yeah, you need to dive deep into your emotions, and you know, it's all about sounds. It's this throat chakra energy and the connection with your sacral, what you feel, and how you're going to learn to express yourself in a new way during this time. What do we have next? Perspective. None of this matters. Zoom out, common ground. So it's all about gaining the right perspective through this. And what I'm getting from that is, you know, to not get too stuck in the little details, and to truly zoom out so you're able to see things better. You know, it's kind of like if I'm like, like if I'm like this, you know, I'm seeing it from this perspective. And it's like, oh, I don't know if that makes sense, but when you're like so close to something, you can get like truly lost in it and not see like what's around you. And yeah, it's kind of just this like perspective of, you know, this higher perspective of seeing things clearly so that you're able to see them. You got the love. Hadrian energy, codependency, boundaries. Through this, you're learning more healthy boundaries, I should say. And you know what your wants and needs are. And I feel that, you know, through this, other people are going to understand your wants and needs and how to support you if you understand them. If you understand how you want to be supported, you know, with when it comes to your emotional world. And just having these boundaries if people are mistreating you. Okay? And not depending so much on them, being your own person, and how if someone doesn't know how to treat you right, of course, communicate what you deserve and set a boundary if they can't show up in the right way, because you're moving forward in this new way. You're breaking these cycles and becoming more in tune with yourself and your emotional world and following your intuitive voice. Wait, it's not yet time. Things are being woven. So it's kind of like I was saying about how Mercury retrogrades are this portal energy. It's like being in the in-between. And interestingly enough, this is the next card, the void. You know, it's about kind of being in this womb void space where you're birthing something new. Wow, that has to do with like the sacral to the womb space, and how you're really focusing on your emotions and having this transformation in that, and how, you know, it's going to take some time to let it happen in this divine timing, and try not to rush it. So when you really allow it to happen its own timing, you know, to flow in the water, you know, it might move fast at times, it might move slow, and to let just whatever comes up come up, and realize that you're safe. Remind yourself when you're feeling that you are safe. You need to reprogram yourself to feel safe in feeling, because you've been taught that it's not safe to feel, and that it's just too much, too overwhelming. And yeah, this isn't going to happen overnight. You're not going to, you know, be able to, I guess, process everything that comes up and work through it in a night. It's going to take a bit of time, but that's the great part of it, because if you surrender and stop resisting, it's actually going to happen much quicker than you think. Trying to control something is actually, you know, slowing down the process and creating this conflict. Okay, lastly, bottom of the deck is empathic starseed. You might resonate with being a starseed, or just being very empathic in general. And from what I'm getting, you know, you've been emotionally disconnected, and I feel that through that, it's been even more hard to really face your emotions and, you know, see things from what they are and process them, because you're also someone that is absorbing what isn't yours. And that's causing it to be even harder to follow your intuition because you can't see clearly. So this is a time where you really need to face all of that, really turn your attention inward and try to understand things, and also understand that a lot of what you're going to be feeling didn't exactly start from you. You know, it came from past situations. You know, you've absorbed energy that isn't yours. You know, if someone was mistreating you or whatever, they were basically putting this weight onto you, and you not having like a proper sense of how to like process and release is what made it even harder to feel this energy that wasn't yours. But now, moving forward, you can really, you know, train yourself to stay protected without blocking yourself off, and to really know how to process and clear out emotions, so that when you do happen to, you know, absorb energy, you're able to clear it out just as quick, and you're not just absorbing it and having it sit in you. Also, crystals are really good for this, and just having these like different rituals and connecting with nature. Nature can teach us so much, and yeah, I feel that during this time, really connecting with not only yourself and your inner world, but also nature is going to help support you during this time. You and nature are going to be like the first kind of support system to really help you through this process of emotionally growing. And when it comes to really understanding everything, I feel that through this, you're going to want to really express yourself. A good way to start, if you want to understand things and just practice, is to journal what you're thinking, what you're feeling. And yeah, I just think like putting words down on paper is a good way to, like, you know, express like this outward energy of everything you're feeling internally. And yeah, that's a start. And then I feel that you're gonna want to, you know, really communicate and express yourself and what you're feeling with the people around you. And you might even have people that are wanting to communicate with you about how they're feeling. I feel like just really clearing out this energy and growing in this way is going to have you attracting that too. You're going to want to express yourself in this new way, and others are going to want to express themselves to you in this new way, because it's like this mirror. I wish you so much luck during this time of transformation and becoming a better you. And remember that everything you're feeling is valid and you're safe to feel.